Some things are built to last. Tested by the elements, proven by time, engineered for whatever comes next. Summertown Metals. Strength in every storm. Building dreams that last.
From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your weather at noon.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Taylor Plott here. Sorry about that. Had a little bit of a hiccup on the video side of things, but we got it all fixed now, so let's get right into your forecast. Obviously, today we're still dry. That continues tomorrow. We're chilly today, but tomorrow we're going to be right back up into the upper 50s, close to 60, but the big story is going to be the Arctic plunge, or Arctic blast, if you will. That's going to be moving on through over the weekend. The good news is it's going to be short-lived, but it's going to be quite cold. Let's get right into your forecast. First off, take a live look from our Arctic Air Skycam network. Starting off in Lawrenceburg, 41 degrees. Got a lot of sunshine, but also got some high clouds. That will continue to be the case throughout the majority of the day today. Good news is it's not going to be as breezy. Winds right now out of the west-southwest at 8 miles per hour. Dew point is at 26 degrees, so it is a little bit of a dry air that is outside right now, but at least it's continuing to warm up gradually, but we're not going to be as warm as what we saw yesterday or as warm as we'll see today, but it still won't be too bad. It's 48 degrees down here in Florence at the Renaissance Hotel, looking at the Wheeler Dam and the Tennessee River. Things are looking very fine there with just some high clouds continuing to move on through. And again, that should be the case throughout the majority of the afternoon hours. Taking a look at the radar satellite composite, this is the overall setup. Got a warm front well off to our northwest. It's actually on the northern side of that, giving some winter storm issues or winter weather issues, if you will, across parts of the northern plains into parts of Iowa and Missouri. That won't make it down here, but we'll get the blow off from the clouds continuing to move on through. So that's the only thing we'll be dealing with from that system. Temperatures right now are still in the middle 40s for the most part. 44 at the Huntsville International Airport, 45 in Decatur, 45 in Pulaski, 41 in Columbia. Notice the warmer temperatures off to the south. That will start making its way up here going into tomorrow. Now let's take a look at the weekend forecast real quick. Obviously, Saturday is going to be the best day. Just a very small chance of an isolated shower. 30 is probably going to end up being a little too generous, I think, right now, but we'll continue to trend down as the forecast progresses. But I wouldn't be shocked if a lot of places just stay in the 20s all day Sunday, but the big thing is going to end up being the wind chill. I'll have more on that here very shortly. Temperature trend over the next 7 days. Obviously, the main focus is going to be the Arctic air moving on through. 14 degrees for a low going into your Monday morning. That actually might need to be dropped just a tad too in later forecasts. It's going to be quite cold Monday morning. The good news is that Arctic air is very short-lived. We get up to 42 on Monday, and then we're right back up into the middle 50s by the time we hit the middle part of next week. So at least we're not looking at a prolonged period of very, very cold. It's only going to be around like a 24 to 36 hour type of time frame, so that's at least some good news. This afternoon, things are fantastic though for this part of December. Temperatures in the upper 40s for the most part with just a few passing clouds, and we are dry. That dry weather continues until your Saturday, which is a few showers. This afternoon forecast highs look like this. Mid to upper 40s can be expected. 48 over here in the Shoals. It's probably going to be the warm spot on the map. 45 in Columbia and Lewisburg. Going into your evening forecast, things get chillier once again, but not too cold, only dropping down into the middle 30s by the time we hit 10 p.m. And really during the overnight hours, we're not going to be budging those temperatures too much, generally staying in the middle 30s for overnight lows tonight. 35 in Huntsville, 34 in Hartselle and Falkville, 35 in the Shoals, 36 up there in Mount Pleasant with just a few clouds continuing to linger on through. Tomorrow is going to be the warmest day until we possibly get into the middle of next week. So over the next 7 days, this is probably going to be the warmest day. Temperatures in the upper 50s to near 60 across southern Tennessee. Right around 60 degrees can be expected across northern Alabama. Can't rule out some areas getting around 61 or 62. So it is going to be quite warm going into your Friday. The rain chances over the next 7 days, again, very low chance on your Saturday. Next best chance, still on the lower end of things right now, will end up being on Wednesday. All right, let's talk about the Arctic air mass. I'm going to show you two things here. This is off the European model. We're going to look at the actual air temperature first. So this is what the air temperatures could be as we wake up on your Sunday morning. This is at 6 a.m. Could be in the lower 20s, maybe some teens across southern Tennessee, maybe a little bit warmer across northern Alabama. As we progress throughout the morning, though, notice by 9 a.m., we're kind of in that lower 20 range for air temperatures and you factor in the winds, it's going to feel a lot colder than that. I'll show you the feels like very shortly. We do eventually warm up into the upper 20s, close to 30 degrees according to the European model as we approach midday on your Sunday, but still quite cold, and that continues into your afternoon hours as well. And then once we get to the evening, we'll plummet down into the teens, I think, pretty quickly, and eventually down into the lower teens by Monday morning. This is the feels like temperature. The majority of the day will probably end up being between 10 and 18 degree wind chill factors, but there's going to be a brief period during the morning hours where you're probably going to end up seeing some single-digit wind chills potentially. So this is 6 a.m., again, starting off Sunday morning. Single-digit wind chills possible across southern Tennessee. That continues into your mid-morning hours, but once we start getting past 9 o'clock, getting close to that noon time frame, we'll start to see those warm up ever so slightly, but it's still feeling quite cold out there. It's just going to end up being a miserable Sunday temperature-wise, I think. Once we get into the evening hours on Sunday, 6 p.m., we'll all drop back down into those feels like temperatures, possibly down into the single digits once again, as the air temperatures will be plummeting down into the lower teens. So here's your 7-day forecast. If you have any plans, and plans meaning, do you need to go to the store? Do you need to go shopping? What do you need to do? And you usually do that on Sunday. I would recommend doing that on Saturday. Again, don't let the shower chance fool you. They're going to be very few and far between. Most places are going to be dry on Saturday, and it's going to be warmer too, so you'll enjoy that. And of course, that 30 on Sunday might end up being a little too generous. I wouldn't be shocked if that actually dips back down into the 20s for highs on Sunday. It's just going to be very cold, and it's going to be a very cold morning on Monday, so make sure you take your cold weather precautions. Bring those pets, any sensitive plants inside. Of course, make sure your faucets are dripping ever so slightly, because that's some pretty cold air coming in into early Monday morning, but it's very short-lived. And we're in the 40s Monday afternoon, and then eventually into the mid-50s by Wednesday, and possibly closing in on 60 again once we get into your Thursday of next week. That's your latest forecast here from the Tennessee Valley Weather Center. Fred Gossage will be in at 5 p.m. to have another full check on your forecast. Until then, I hope everybody has a fantastic Thursday afternoon.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.